Welcome to the Get Better Project, where your host Joe Bauer interviews the world's top fitness, endurance, and strength athletes to figure out what has propelled them to the top of their game.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
Listen, learn, and start getting better today. Here we go.
All right, welcome to the Get Better Project. I'm excited today to have Ricky Moore from CrossFit Invictus. He's a games athlete and multi-time regionals athlete. Ricky, how you doing today?
I'm great, man. Just another beautiful day in San Diego. How you doing, man?
Heck yeah. I'm up here in Seattle and it is not quite beautiful. I'm looking out the window right now and it is gray, but at least it's not raining. So I've got that going for me.
Oh, dude, if I turned my computer around, you would hate life right now.
I bet I would, but I'll have to get down to San Diego sooner or later and hang out. But let's see. I know you because I've trained with you before in the past, but a lot of people that are listening and watching here probably don't know your story. So can you give us the background of Ricky Moore? Like, how did you let's actually give us a life background. Like what have you done up until this point, and how did that get you into CrossFit?
So, basically I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida, right next to Tampa, Florida, for those of you that don't know. I grew up there till I was about 20, played just about every sport under the sun. I fell in love with wrestling in high school, and I wrestled for 3 years, 1 year in college. In South Carolina, and then came home and fell into kind of a dark place at home. Wasn't really doing too much. Ended up joining the Navy, and then while I was in the Navy, I had a buddy of mine that was like, "Hey, man, you wrestled. You should try CrossFit." I looked it up, saw what it was like, "Nah, dude, that looks lame. That looks so stupid." And then come to find out, I was a big ESPN guy, lived and died by ESPN, and I saw that it was on ESPN one year, and I was like, you know what? I'll go check this out. And I did some more research. I got stationed in San Diego. I was in the Navy, and then looked up Invictus, the Sea of Green. Everybody knew about it, and then it was kind of just working, doing CrossFit from there. And basically, the biggest correlation was like wrestling and CrossFit are very similar, so I immediately fell in love with it, like, in that old like competitive wrestling background kind of kicked in. But yeah, basically played every sport. I went to states in high school for wrestling and golf.
Really?
Two completely different sports.
I didn't know you were a golfer, man. You still golf?
I haven't golfed in about 2 years, but I'll shoot at 85 any day.
Okay.
I'm totally confident in that.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been doing CrossFit at this point? Do you know?
August 2012.
Okay. So quite a while now.
Yeah. I'm with like Nunu and like all these other guys that have been like, even Garrett was like, yeah, this is my 7th year. I'm like, I still feel like a pup though, a little bit compared to all these other guys I'm around. People have been doing it since like 08, 09.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess 5 years is a long time. So
yeah. When you first started, were you competitive about it from the start, or how did that go? Was it like a lead into competition?
I would say because I started when I was 20 and I was like just a year out from like competitive wrestling. So I will say that it was solely a competitive aspiration.
Okay.
Just because, being young and just a year away from like collegiate sports and playing sports my entire life. I think now it's slowly towards getting the other way. I mean, the older you get, unless you're Nunu Costa, but the older you get, it's just like I've fallen in love with the health and fitness part of it more, but there's still always that competitive edge, and the fact that I work out with all these athletes, it's always a good time. So
yeah, for sure. And so here's an interesting question. How is your diet, or how would you explain your diet to people?
Well, right now, so a year ago, I didn't I was like eating Chipotle, In and Out. For a little while, people were making fun of me because I was eating Chick-fil-A a lot. Um, but over the last year, my girlfriend, who just got her sports nutrition license, and a girl on our team, Jen Ryan, she's a phenomenal nutritionist. I started following my macros and stuff like that, and I eat pretty clean now.
Okay.
I mean, I still love to indulge,
Yeah.
like, because once the open finished on Friday, I think I've had 2 clean meals since.
Nice.
But I'll start to ramp that back up. And I mean, I have a certain amount of macros I need to hit for carbs, protein, and fats and stuff like that. My girlfriend does it all though. She cooks it, she packages it, and she's literally a saint for that, for me.
That having that is like invaluable. Holy smokes.
And like now it's like, so I grew up on fast food, and like I grew up eating like not healthy. And like now, like I don't even get the craving like as much. Like it's just more of like, if I eat something horrible, like every once in a while it's cool, you know, I get it. But like if I go in like a binger, it's like, because right now I'm not feeling great from it.
Yep.
So it's like I don't really get that. Like I need to eat this all the time. It's just like every once in a while.
Okay. How long did it take for you to get to that point?
28, so 26 years. No, it took a couple months to really, like, I was like, you know what, especially last year, because I knew I had a really good shot at going to games. I was like, okay, like I need to get serious about this. And it took a couple months to get used to. And then after about like 6 months, it's just like, it became more habit than actual like thinking about it. Like I already knew like what to do and stuff like that.
Okay. And at what point did you start to feel like you didn't crave it anymore, or it like felt crappy when you'd have a binge?
About the 6 month mark, about the 6 month mark. And like after this is like, I looked at my girlfriend, like, I don't even crave like ice cream anymore. I used to eat a pint a night.
Really?
Like, yeah, easy.
Wow.
And
Carb
now it's just
backloading.
like,
There you go.
yeah, like I don't even crave ice cream anymore. Like if I do, I told people. So Maddie Myers is also my roommate. She's like, you need to try froyo. I'm like, no way, that's just disgusting. And then now it's funny. My girlfriend, I told her the other night, I was like, hey, can we go get froyo? She's like, who are you? So I do eat a lot better, and I don't crave like the crappy stuff anymore, which is good.
Cool. What are your macros? Do you know?
No, because my girlfriend loads it up. Like, I think if I had to guess, it's like I have to hit, I know a calorie count is I need to hit like 3,200 a day. So, but I don't know. She has it on a spreadsheet somewhere. So like I said, all my stuff's boxed up and she puts it in there. So I don't know off the top of my head.
She should start her own. She should start a meal company.
Yeah. Not a meal company. She's interning under Jen Ryan. So she's trying to get clients and stuff like that at some point. She's also works for the Padres.
Oh, so, cool.
Next time you come in, we'll go to a game. Let's go.
Yeah, man. You're in good hands. Holy smokes.
Phenomenal hands. Like you have no idea. It's a blessing for sure.
Cool. Do you program cheat days on a regular basis?
No, I don't program it. It's as long, because that's the cool thing about counting macros, I guess, is like sometimes you can get away with it, you know, because as long as you hit your macros, you think like, oh no, I'm good. But I'd say on Thursdays and on the weekends, like, and by weekends I mean like Sunday, probably we'll like hit a little cheat meal, or we'll just eat whatever we got here. So
cool. And let's transition into your training. How often are you training, and how many hours a day would you say?
So I try to train 5 days a week. With school and stuff, that gets a little hairy.
Hmm.
Um, but 5 days a week, roughly, and then anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half.
Okay.
Like that is literally it. I'm just really good about listening to my body, and then, like you said, I've been doing this for 5 years. Like I know where I need to push and where I need to focus on throughout the year, not just like every day. So, yeah, just I never work out past an hour and a half. I keep the
Okay.
intensity very, very high
Yep.
when I train. If I even there's some days where like if I don't have the right intensity, like I'll just like hop on the bike, play spike ball or do something just to move, but not necessarily like attack a training workout because it's not necessarily beneficial.
So you're saying that you're a games athlete, or you've been to the games, and you are only training up to an hour and a half a day. I think it's
Yeah,
interesting because a lot of people don't think that that is even possible at this point. So I'm happy to hear it. I think it's cool.
yeah. And it's funny thing is, I have a lot of semi-private clients that are competitors, and they're like, "I need to be doing this. I need to be doing this." I'm like, "No, no, no, you don't." Right? And Nunakas is the same way, right? I mean, very early on, he was a 2 a day kind of guy, but like even now, like he'll go, like we'll train together and like because we're on the same time frame for the most part,
Hmm.
like do what we got to do and like we feed off of each other for workouts and like how we listen and respond to our body. And like yeah, that's I think that's the biggest problem with people these days is like I do believe there's some benefit to doing 2 sessions per day if you do it the right way, but some people get hurt or broken before they can even get to the open or regionals
Yeah.
just because they're overloading it. But as long as you do it right with the right amount of intensity, you can 100% achieve your goals, whatever those are. I think people's goals are very skewed to what it takes to get there. Like I've been doing this for 5 years, and I just got to the games at my 5 year mark.
Hmm.
To where like 3 years ago, we were telling people like 18 months, depending on how you adapt, could get you to the games or regionals, what have you. Now it's these days it's like a 3 year plan.
Yeah.
Even from like teen regular people masters and just trying to like have people realize their body and what training needs to be like, not necessarily just going in and checking the box, because I've never been that kind of person to just check the box
Right.
on workout. If I'm going to do a workout, I'm going to attack it, have the right intensity to it, and then go about, because I feel like that will really benefit you rather than just, oh, hey guys, I did 6 workouts today, and it's like, but Joe Schmo's over there still beating me in open workouts. So,
Right. So how do you approach the intensity then? Like you mentioned that like you try and attack every workout, but some days you don't have that intensity, or you feel like you're not really into it. Do you force it at that point, or do you maybe like you said, go sit on the bike or whatever? How do you approach that?
um, it all depends on what you've done like the week leading up to that and stuff like that. Like obviously, if you did something stupid the day before and you're just like, I just don't have it this day, um, that's fine. But how do I approach it? It just depends. If it's like a body weight workout or something like I can do, I will attack it 100%. But if it's like I did something the day before and we have a heavy deadlift day, because that's how I got hurt back in the day. So I guess like if you don't have the right intensity to it, that's the better chance of getting hurt
Right.
or like getting burnt out for some people these days. Um, it's just kind of like picking and choosing your battles to where like you will benefit not necessarily that day or the 3 days on, 2 days, 1 day off, 2 days on. It's just like throughout the week. And that's the cool thing. Like we get our programming for the week, and then like we see where like, okay, this week I know I can do this or whatnot. And just basically you have to be mentally engaged in the workout to know like because if you're not mentally engaged and you don't have the right intensity, you basically get nothing out of it, if
Sure.
that makes sense.
It does. And what happens, let's say that you had a really hard day on Monday and you come into Tuesday and you're not really feeling it. do you have a progression that you go through to try and get yourself into it? And at some point do you say, no, today's going to be just like an easier day for me because my body is not primed or whatever?
Yeah. One, I will have a real talk with myself about it. And I think this is where having the benefit of always having a coach and, talking to my coach about it.
Mm.
And like, cause there'd be days where like, I'll be thinking like, well, I'm just don't want to do it. And then Tino will just be like, hey, like quit being a wuss. Like we're not doing that much today. We're not doing like, and like, especially with getting geared for the open or something like that. It's like, or he'll just be like, you know what, you're right. Like this is high volume. And especially cause my body can't handle that much pulling volume compared to like Garrett, but
Okay.
they can't do that much squatting volume compared to like me. And that's just basically genetics and like how my body is built. You'll have a talk with myself, talk with the coach, and then come up with a game plan. But usually like I said, I've been doing this for 5 years. Like if I see a workout, I'm just like, I don't think I'm going to get that much benefit to doing this. So I'll just do something else that I'll feel a benefit to, whether it be like, spending at a lower intensity, working on weaknesses, or what accessory work, because that's something I do not do great at is accessory work. But those are the days where like to focus on weaknesses and accessory work. And then as long as my coach has got my back about it, I'll feel good. And like just having the confidence to know that like, no, this is not going to affect me open and regionals.
Sure.
So where I think a lot of people struggle with, they're like, no, I need to do this. I need to do this. Like, no, you don't.
Right.
But it is what it is.
So I think that's awesome because I deal with or I have a lot of athletes, right? And they always want to go really, really hard all the time. And I try to explain to them that some days that may not be the best thing for you. And, you can get more out of like what you're saying. Like you look at a workout sometimes and you know that I can't handle as much pulling volume. So maybe if that comes up, you'd be better off doing something else or accessory work or whatnot. And what I want people to hear is that that's okay. We've got someone who's at as advanced a stage as you saying that like, that's okay to, have different genetics or go off of the programming sometimes to do something that's more beneficial for you, essentially.
Yeah. So like if there's like a pulling day, right, where we're doing like there was a workout that has like 18-4, for example, right? I would never do 45 deadlifts at 315 in a workout ever. Come game day, it's a different story, right? Yeah. It's just like because people are like, well, what about this? I'm like, if you look at powerlifters, right, they pull abnormally crazy amounts of weight off of the floor for a deadlift, right? Yeah. So it's just like, do you think they do it with perfect technique? No, right? Because they know the repercussions of pulling. We aren't meant to pull, what is it? Thor Bjornsson pulled like 1,000, a new world record, deadlift, whatever. Sure. It's like, he knows like this is not natural, right? So he knows the risk of like, if he slides and turns any which way, like and pulls something in his lower back or herniates a disc, he understands that risk and it's worth it. So that's why game day, you have a workout and you're not good at it, and you just have to, it's called like, we call it game time. It's like we have people that are gamers and you have people that are like, they just can't game, right? I know that doesn't really make any sense, but
I get it.
In an atmosphere like that, that's when you rely on like your early days of training to where you're getting the volume in, and then you're learning your body to where it's like now it's like I haven't pulled the 315 deadlift other than cleans since games. Wow. Like that was my first time doing like volume deadlifts since games, and I still finished the workout.
Yeah.
Like I did an 852, and like I just know on game day I can do it, but beforehand it's just like I can't handle that only in certain situations. Okay. So if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you don't deadlift really on a regular basis, or at least heavy?
I got kind of nervous for 18-4 because like I haven't, I've done cleans, but I haven't done like a deadlift workout since a heavy deadlift workout since games. I think I did DT for the Wadapalooza qualifier.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I haven't done deadlifts since.
And is that
Like,
because of your body, or is that because it just didn't show up in the programming?
no, it showed up in the programming, but I just stayed away from it. Like,
Okay.
Invictus, we don't deadlift that much anyway, but I know a couple Saturdays ago we were doing it was like a repeat of 17.4, which was the deadlift 225. But even then I was just like, I don't need to be doing that right now because we're in the middle of the open, or the open's just starting. Like, I just don't trust myself to deadlift that much right now.
Okay.
So, but yeah, but I think it's just knowing my body. So like Nunu doesn't really snatch that often, just because he like he'll do position work, but he won't go heavy, just because like shoulder things, other things. He's just so good at like what he needs to do. So
yeah. So basically, learn about your body. Is what you're saying.
well, and I think that's what makes like the elite. Like Garrett, same thing. Like there'll be some days where like, nah, I'm not pushing this today. It's like if you learn your body, the faster you learn your body, and there's a difference between in training pushing the limit sometimes to where like pushing training unhealthy and not knowing your body. Because like we have our young competitors, right? We tell them like you need to push the limits safely, of course, right? If somebody's doing a horrible deadlift, like we're like, hey, no, that's not what we mean. But it's like, okay, we have like a thruster, like at a lightweight, like why'd you put it down in the first round at 18 instead of 21? Like, oh, because it got hard? Like, no, you push through, right? It's like you push your limits there, you learn your body to really, I think that's the complete package to a great athlete, or a high level regional athlete to games athlete. So just the faster you learn your body while pushing your limits is going to be very key to the next level.
So I think that people are going to be asking me after this interview, after they listen to it, well, did Ricky not deadlift more because he was worried about injury, or should he have deadlifted more in order to just get better at it? So that's my question.
I spent, throughout the years, I spent a full year learning because I got hurt. So I learned how to pull correctly.
Yeah.
And then I would do some corrective exercises. We do a lot of sandbag, a lot of strongman work. And like every once in a while, I try not to change up my deadlift and my clean too much. So I try to correlate that a lot, but that's a good question. I would say there's a time and a place to do that during the year.
Sure.
But that's a good one.
Stumped you. Yes, this is what I go for.
Yeah,
Try and stump the elite athletes.
Well, I think it just comes back to knowing my body and the confidence thing, to where like I put the work in to where I got healthy, but I still know what not to do.
Yeah.
Like high volume deadlifts is just dumb to me.
Do you feel like you squat heavy enough and that correlates enough with the deadlift that you can go into a deadlift workout like in the open and have confidence for it? Is that a possibility?
Yes and no. I think that's just more of an ego thing. Like if I can squat enough, like I don't necessarily like, it's just, I don't know. Like I think I just put so much practice into the deadlift, correcting it. And then with being confident in my strength.
Yeah.
That, you know what, I can get through a 315 bar at 45 reps. Actually, I don't know if I can, but I'm going to do everything in my power to get one. Yeah. So, and like my back wasn't hurt after 18.4. Like I felt great. Like my back feels great. But I think you can practice the deadlift and get better at it in volume. But I don't think it's beneficial to do in a workout because the fatigue is different, right? Mm-hmm. So in the off season, like it's funny because Tino does program deadlifts in the off season, and I still don't do them. Like I just don't. I'll deadlift every once in a while, but I do a lot of clean pulls. And I think I do a lot of clean pulls instead because it limits the volume of deadlifts, but I still focus on the right mechanics, although it's still a clean pull and a deadlift is completely different. But I think that's where I get my variety of pulling in.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of sandbag work and one-arm deadlifts, like sumo one-arm deadlifts as accessory work though. Like I'll do up to like 185 for sets of 6 on each hand.
Okay.
So, but yeah, but I think it's just because when I was younger, I've done so many deadlifts. So I don't know.
Well, I think that's a good point though. Like if you've done a lot of deadlifting in your past, you do remember, your body does remember that. I mean, you have whether it's confidence or whether you've built up certain, muscle fibers to respond a certain way to that type of movement. I think there's definitely something to be said from that. So people aren't like, well, I don't like deadlifting. And Ricky said he doesn't deadlift, so I'm just not going to deadlift. It's like, well, no, you've done a lot of deadlifting. So okay.
I have a client, she's a gymnast, and she did really well in the open. This is her first open, but she was a gymnast, but her deadlift is, we're going to have to work a lot on it. But she's had some back problems through gymnastics to where like, I know we can't do it that often and we're not going to do high volume of it. We're just going to refine the technique and then slowly over time, like a year time, try to actually worry about getting like proper like weight under that. So
okay, cool. So enough about the deadlift. What do you do for recovery, and like do you have any go-to recovery methods?
Acupuncture is huge. Acupuncture. I found that to be the most beneficial, and whenever I can't schedule that, I do like e-stims, right? Whether that be Power Dot or Complex. I think that helps a lot for recovery. Other than that, it's just basically those two things. I've done the cryotherapy, the free stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't a fan of that. Like it just got me really cold and but I'm not saying there's not a place for it. But that for me is not a bit, just basically acupuncture and like ART and Power Dot is basically.
And in what circumstances do you do those things? Is it like every week I have acupuncture, or is it like, oh crap, I'm feeling terrible right now, let me go get acupuncture?
Well, it is very expensive. So I would say in the off season, it's on a need only basis. Okay. Now that the open is over, I talked to my acupuncturist and I'm like, hey, can we because I'm pretty good right now. Like my body feels pretty good. I got a little shoulder thing, but that's why the only reason why I'm going to see her I'm going to try to see her every 2 weeks until regionals. And, all things go well, qualify for games. Yep. It'll probably be a once a week or every 10 days kind of thing, just so I know like my body is 100% ready to go. It's just one extra thing to get my mind off of stuff, and just I know I'm doing the right thing to get ready for games.
Sure. And how about with electro stim? Do you use that every day, or is it?
Try to every day, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I'd say it's definitely 3 to 4 times a week, for sure. But I try to every day if I can.
Okay. Cool. And like playing onto that, do you have any other interesting tools that you use on a regular basis? I know there's lots of interesting tech things out there, whether it be like, I know I just got one of those Halo things and was talking with those guys. And do you have any fun stuff that you use that you think gives you an unfair advantage?
Lots of caffeine.
Check.
I love caffeine. I do like the Halos. I don't use them, but I do like it. I do like science, and I do think science plays a lot in like the psychology, but also I'm just an old school kid who doesn't do much. Like, I watch a lot of motivational videos. I just watched that Rocky one with his dad, like him talking to his son. Like, it's not how hard you get hit, but like that one.
Yeah.
But I don't do anything out of the ordinary other than like that. So I have rituals to where like every day, every workout for the open this year, I wore exact same boxers, shorts, socks, shirt, and shoes. But no, nothing out of the ordinary. But I don't discredit any of those things like the halo and stuff, because CJ's real big on those.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cammy loves them. Like I'm sure there's some science to it. Well, I mean, there is science to it, but for me, nothing out of the ordinary, really.
Okay. And something that I've picked up on this conversation is that maybe one of the secret weapons that you have is the people that you train with on a regular basis. Like you're talking about, you're around Garrett and you're around Nunu and whatnot. And those guys are awesome as far as training partners, I would assume, and they can help push you. And would you say that that's fair, that helps take you to the next level?
110%. Because it's like, where do some of these guys at games, right? If you watch like the documentaries and stuff like that, they're talking about like they know who's going to do really well at what workout,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they're in their mind, they're just like, I'm going to do everything in my power to stay as close to them, right?
Yeah.
Like Patrick Bellner, I think, said that in the Redeemed and Dominant or whatever. But every year there's somebody saying that, like, they know who to stay close to on certain workouts. And like, we had to make a sheet of like who can train at one, just because like we had so many people. Like one day we had like 35 people, and it's just like, that's way too many. But we have Bryce, Holden, Hunter, Garrett, Nunu, Eric Carmody, like Nick Laura, like Blaine, Tino, CJ, like all of us are there. Like all of us are just like working out, and it's like we're like I know who's gonna win this workout, and like so we just try to stay close to them. So if it's like an assault bike workout, I'm just like, well, I'm probably gonna be the last one off the bike. But if there's a lot of back squats afterwards, like it was funny. We did this, and like Hunter and Holden were like one of the first ones off the bike, and we had like 50 back squats at 185. I caught all of them just because of the back squats.
Sure.
And it's like, you know where to push to try to catch who in the workout, and I think that pushes you a little bit more just to try to stay close with a certain person. Or if you beat the person in their home run workout, that's when the shit talking begins.
Nice.
100%. So,
I love it.
The funny thing is, Garrett is like, he doesn't really have many home runs, but like he's always like second or third. Like he's just so well rounded, and it's just like you're so big, you're not supposed to be doing 40 strict handstand push-ups unbroken. But yeah, he did, and I was like, man, he's super impressive.
Wow.
Everyone we have is just super impressive. It's like, I think that's what it makes you hungry to just like want to keep up with those guys. So yeah, training partners is huge.
Yeah.
Huge. It's always competitive, and it's always fun, which is a good time.
That's cool. I know that something that I preach to people and with myself is like, hang around the people that you want to be like. And there's that quote that's like, you are a combination of the 5 people you spend the most time around. And if you want to be good at CrossFit, man, hang around some really good CrossFitters. And it sounds like that's part of your life for sure.
Oh, 100%. I grew up in a great CrossFit family.
Yeah.
Here.
Totally. Invictus is awesome for sure. Are there any experiments that you've tried in the past in your CrossFit career that you're like, whether that be diet, training modalities or recovery, that either went well or didn't go well, and you're like, well, that sucked?
And that's just what I'm trying to preach to some of my my clients right now that are already wanting to gear up for the next season. Is a lot of like, 2015, I think I went to regionals, 2016 I went to regionals on a team. And after that, I didn't do very much aerobic work at all. Like, I focused strict on Olympic lifting, technique, and strength. Because that was my biggest problem. Me being 5'6", 170 pounds, I'm not the strongest guy. Like back then, I think my clean was like 315 and like a snatch of like 225.
Mm-hmm.
I barely did any sort of aerobic work. I just focused. I worked out 4 times a week and it wasn't even like back-to-back days. I was just focusing on strength and Olympic lifting technique. So it was easy to combine the two. I did that up until December. So this is May. So starting like 2 weeks after May, all the way up until December, because I qualified for the American Open, did the American Open as a 77 kilo lifter, and really focused on my strengths. And then I started conditioning in January.
Mm-hmm.
Thought I was going to die. But when it was a great test, because once I did, so for instance, let's say 17.3, yeah, right? It was the snatch chest to bar.
Okay.
I cleared all the 245 bars.
Wow.
I got into 265. And my clean was up at to 350, back squat at 500. And it was just like, I really paid off with doing that. And then some of my weaknesses became not necessarily my strengths, but a huge confidence.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the biggest thing is it's really hard. I think building an aerobic capacity is super easy, like for general public,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even like Matt Fraser, who great Olympic lifter, has now an amazing aerobic capacity and is still super strong.
Yep.
But like, I think developing an aerobic capacity is relatively easy, but developing strength is so hard and so time consuming, like time frame wise,
Mm-hmm.
that people need to, for those of you that want to get stronger, just need to work on strength, like 4 times a week. Like I know it's for women, it's different than men because of chemical balances, right, in their bodies. But it's just, you look at some of the strongest women, they're like ex-lifters. Like it's like, that was the biggest learning curve that I had. And I'll have another learning curve after this year. I'm not going to focus on too much like Metcons. I'm just going to focus on accessory work and more technique after whenever the season ends. But basically the strength one is just one I tried out, and I went, like I said, like over 6 months of just focusing on that. But that's the biggest learning curve for me. 'Cause played soccer my entire childhood, played all kinds of sports. I've always had a pretty good aerobic capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's all mental with a little bit of tips and tricks. But strength is something I think people need to spend their off season really focusing on. And I don't mean just like, like following the program and then doing a Metcon. Like, no, it's like you need a couple hours in between your strength work for your body to really take that in, and then do like some aerobic capacity work 3 times a week at different times.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
My research that has been only developed by me. It's not backed up by anything else. But I've started working with some people on that as well, and I've seen some good progress. So hopefully just keep that going.
Cool. So did you have a program that you followed for strength, or did you write that yourself?
I followed it from Tino and CJ. They gave me like, hey, like I told them like, hey, I got a long off season this year. I want to focus on Olympic weightlifting. I set a goal. Like I would like to qualify for the American Open, but also I have like some certain benchmarks I want to do. So I think it'll only make me more competitive for next year. And it sure did. I finished like 12th in the region on that one.
Nice. And do you know, do those guys, if somebody listening or watching this is like, that's what I need, do they offer a program like that? You know?
Well, now we do. So we have an 8-week Hunter who Hunter is probably after seeing me do that, like seeing so many strength gains. Like Hunter went from like a 325 clean to a 365 because he focused predominantly on strength for like a good 3 months. And he's so talented. I hate it. He's so, God, that drives me bananas. And he offers a 8-week strength and developing course. We also have Jared Enderton now runs a Invictus weightlifting online thing that is it's basically what I was following for a little bit because he works with us now on that. But yeah, we offer so much stuff. Even on our Invictus athlete, like they have like strength portions, aerobic capacity, like to focus in the off season to where you pick and choose. And also like, I mean, CJ's been doing this forever. He's had a lot of people like, you know, do really well in Olympic weightlifting. Like Lauren and Maddie may have heard of them. But yeah, they really know their stuff here. So yeah, we offer so many different things.
Cool. So I'll put this stuff in the show notes, guys. So you can go to thegetbetterproject.com/Ricky Moore and find all of links to this fun stuff that he's talking about. But let's move on to talking about you more. What are your current goals? Like what are you shooting for?
Current goals, man, is just I would say, are we talking about just CrossFit specifically, or are we just talking about like life or?
Personally, I think it's interesting to know more about you. So let's talk CrossFit and life. Why not?
Okay. Well, current goals, man, just get through this next semester of school. Like just do well in that. Also, I would like to get back to games too. That would be great. See how the new 4-person team goals.
Yeah.
4-person teams go. Mainly school, get through school because, I mean, I'm a year away. That's kind of like big deer in headlights right now. I love coaching, just basically help all my clients reach their goals. That's a huge goal for me. Got one of my athletes. She just qualified for the online qualifier in her age group, which is really cool.
Nice.
And, you know, help my other personal clients reach their goals for next year, start that as soon as possible. Let's see. And yeah, just basically I would like it to make it to the games again. That'd be great. Yeah, I don't have any numbers goals anymore, like what I'm chasing after. Just because like I've hit all the numbers I wanted to. Yeah, I want my snatch to get better, but I'm super stoked with all my other lifting numbers. I do want to get better. I call it I want to be a better machine athlete. Do you know what that means?
No, what's that mean?
So I suck on machines.
Okay.
Like assault bike, row. Like
Yep.
I want to get better on machines. So I'll be spending a lot of my Sundays doing 30-minute long like workouts of just like working on like the assault bike, like ski erg, bike erg. But yeah, I'd say school is probably the biggest one right now. I keep telling CJ all the time, like, CJ, like, let me just put me on a salary or do something. Like, I'll quit school today. Like, I'll do it. So, but he's always like, no, you're finishing school. I'm like, okay, you're right, but I don't like it. But yeah, school, you know, keep my girlfriend. She's awesome. So I would keep that. I'm not in danger of that though, I don't think. But yeah, basically just and expanding my knowledge as a coach. That's huge, and especially here, because like constantly developing, constantly learning, and trying to just get through that. Coaching, I love coaching. So I just want to refine my craft as a coach.
Awesome. So this is a question next up that I thought was pretty interesting and came from one of the athletes that I work with on a regular basis. And it's, do you ever feel like giving up? You know, because like anytime that you're really competitive or you have like these goals, there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of emotion that goes into that. you ever had a point where you're like, man, I don't know if I can do this anymore?
Oh yeah. Like both outside of working out, inside and working out. Inside of working out, if I'm in a workout and I'm just like, man, I could totally give up right now. And I think this is the reason why I do team, is because when I did individual 1 year, it's easy to quit on yourself. It's super easy. All it takes is one decision.
Yeah.
On a team aspect, you don't have that option. You can't quit on other people. And if you are, you shouldn't be on a team.
Sure.
But I just always think about like, there's always somebody depending on me, or there's always someone that has said like, you're not good enough, or you're never going to do this. And it's funny. So Tino told me back in December of 2012, I told him like, hey, I'm going to go team. And I don't have any ambitions to go individual, but for me, for a goal for myself, I would like to like qualify within like the top 48. And he's like, stop it. You just started. It's unreal. It's unrealistic. It's never going to happen. So like that, and we still even joke about it still to this day. It's like, sometimes that really pushes you. In training, if you've done, or like overall, if you've been doing something long enough, there's always going to be that moment of, you can quit. But if you just have to think about to like why you did it, or like some moments that made it like really worth it, to like training is just like some people are just like, yeah, I just want to quit. It's just getting really hard. It's like, well, you don't necessarily have to quit. Just change your focus.
Sure.
Like find something you love about it. Like whether it's like, you love how you feel. You love how like or like when you get older and you have kids, like you want to be like able to do stuff with them. That's when I think I started to fall in love with the health and fitness side of CrossFit more instead of the competitive. Cause like, I want to do this forever. Maybe I won't compete, but like, and especially having like Nunu Costa, he's 38 and he still finished 50th and went in a region of 20,000 people. So it's like seeing stuff like that really like motivates you, and like, and those times are going to come. Like, man, I just want to quit. Like there's like, I think leading up to games last year, I was like, I just want to quit. Like, I just want to quit because like, this really isn't fun right now. But when you get onto the stage, it was a blast. Yeah. And I think a lot of people forget, like, whether it's a profession or something, like school sucks, but I know like the outcome is going to be magnificent. Right? Or like anything, and that's why I love the quote, like anything, or I could be chopping this up, like anything worth fighting for is totally worth it, or something like that. I'm sure like there's many quotes like that, but like the lead up to it is always worse than the outcome. So you just have to think of what your outcome is, like what your goal is, which is, like I said, mine is to make it back to the games, and I'll go through anything to do that. Like, right. Or like make sure my clients reach their goals, and like, I'll do anything for that. So it's just, you just can't quit. You just can't. And if you do, you just have to, it's not for everyone. Certain things are not for everyone. Like competitive CrossFit is not for everyone. Like if you're somebody who's like, you have a full-time job and like you want like, and you're not willing to put that sacrifice or to reach it to the games or whatever your goals are, maybe it's just not for you, because there's sacrifice that's going to be needed. There's going to be hardships. There's going to be hard training days to where it's going to test you mentally.
Yeah.
So
would you advise people like you have that, I need to make it back to the games, and that seems like it triggers for you, and also helping other people. You seem to be very passionate about that, which is freaking awesome. So when you're working with your clients and you're like asking them or figuring out how to get them to the point of like having that trigger where they can shift their focus and keep going so that they're not quitting during a workout or not quitting CrossFit in general, do you go through a process with your clients to figure out what that is?
Yeah, it's like, what's your goal? What's your why? Like, why are you doing this? Like, why do you want to do this? And you just have to think about like, because it's easy, and a lot of people gravitate towards negative things Like, I don't get it. Like, everyone, like, I guess that kind of contradicts myself a little bit, because like every time I'm doing something in a workout, I think of like a negative aspect to motivate me to go back. But you also have to think about the times that are great, to like why you really, really like this. So like if you're an avid, like golf is the perfect example, right? To where like you can go out and have the worst 17 holes of your life, right? In an 18 hole, but you have one good hole.
Yeah.
Like it's like, I don't care. Oh, like you won't remember like the double bogey or anything like that. If you had like an eagle or like a 40-foot birdie putt or like a chip in for birdie, like I don't think there's ever been a time where I chipped in for birdie and wasn't stoked about it.
Sure.
Or I just walked off like, oh yeah, just another day in the life. No, it was sweet. So it's just like you have to come back in to remember it. And also, if you've been a competitor for like your entire life, it's pretty easy. But it's pretty easy to remember the good things. But it's also, you have to remember why you do it, and just stop gravitating towards the negative. You're gonna have a bad day. You're gonna have maybe a bad week. It's gonna happen. So you just have to learn to like, all right, recognize it. It's kind of like learning your body. It's like just recognize, like, okay, today sucks, right? Tomorrow might suck too.
Yeah.
Yesterday sucked, right? It's not going to suck forever unless you let it suck forever.
Sure. And that's a great lead into the next question, which is, and I think you already talked about it a little bit with back injury, but can you talk a little bit about injuries that you've had and how you can take that positivity or like not go into the negative portion and keep moving forward? Because I know that there's a lot of people that I work with that are like, oh man, I just did something to my shoulder and now I can't work out. And I'm like, no, you can totally work out. You just have to focus on the things that you can do. So how have you been injured in the past, and how have you gotten yourself through that?
I had a bulging disc, my L5S1, and I didn't squat for a year. But being injured was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, because I worked on upper body movements. Like I was a horrible pull-up person. If you go back to Invictus's, one of their anniversary videos, it says me in there with a little baby face. This was like 2013 or something. It's like, I hate pull-ups. Like I hated them. And like now I absolutely love pull-ups, because that year I got hurt with my back. Like I did a lot of pull-ups, not necessarily butterfly pull-ups, but I did a lot of strength pulling. Like I focused on weaknesses in a different aspect. And I get that all the time with people. They're like, hey, like my foot's jacked up or my shoulder's jacked up. I'm like, okay, what's your squat again? Oh, 135 pounds. And you want to go to the CrossFit Games? Okay, let's get that up. How about that? How about we focus on something completely different? There's always a goal, right? You just may have to shift the long-time goal and focus on a more short-term goal in the time being. One, the goal, no matter what anyone says, is just to be healthy.
Right.
Because they're like, well, I want to do this, 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 and this. I'm like, okay, if you're not healthy, can you do any of those? They're like, no. I'm like, thank you. But stay healthy, and then focus on some other goals if you're limited. Like that's the beauty of CrossFit. It's the beauty of fitness, right? There's always something you can do. Always something you can do. Oh, so like if my shoulder or something ever got hurt, I'd be like, well, that leaves only one thing, the assault bike. And I'm gonna become a master of the assault bike.
Yeah.
I suck at it anyway. It's just, but yeah, focusing on, there's always something you can do to better yourself, whether it's a fitness standpoint, a health standpoint, or a competitive standpoint.
Yep.
There's always something you can do. Do not do that by yourself. Talk it out with a coach. Get a good game plan. Not all coaches are great, but most coaches know a good guideline to go follow through of like what not to do and stuff like that. But there's always something you can do to still obtain your long-term goal. You just have to probably change it a little bit. Yeah. So the only injury I've ever had was lower back, and didn't do any type of squatting for like 8 months or up to a year. So,
well, I think it sucks that, you know, you had to get injured, but I'm the same way. I've had similar back injuries before. And I always tell people it is the best thing that's ever happened to me, getting injured, because you learn so much. And being in the moment, you don't feel that way. But afterwards, or even like as you're getting into the improvements of your other things, it's like, okay, I get it. I totally get it. So I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah, and I think it also makes you a great shepherd for things that come for others.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like if you're somebody who does something stupid, whether it be like with like money or something like that, and like somebody's thinking about it, or like try and follow like a program or genetics or whatever it may be, and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this." I'm like, "Well, I've done this too before, and this is what's happened," or like, "Just watch out for this." Like, you just become, I think, a better shepherd for stuff like that. Just to like not let it to happen to people, but you have to relay that message in doing that.
Great.
So if
Great
you just
point.
see someone like, if I see somebody who's like, "Hey, I'm about to do," because like I said, one of my clients, like a 205 deadlift was really heavy. You know, I'm just like, maybe we shouldn't do that many deadlifts at 205. You know, just be happy to get there and like focus on that in the off season. So, and that worked out. They didn't get injured or something like that. And I think that's actually like a smart call.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Ricky, what about being a high level athlete is the hardest for you?
I don't know. I just trying to keep it fun, honestly.
Okay.
Like, cause some day, like at times, like it does feel like work.
Yeah.
But I'd say, and that's also cool with like some of the people we have around, like it gets fun. Like it's fun most of the days. Some days it's not, and some days it's not going to be fun. Right. I mean, if we ever have like thrusters and burpees programmed, I'm the only one that's stoked about it.
No kidding, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like, this is stupid. I don't want to do this. But it's like vice versa. Like if there's something that I don't like, it's hard to get motivated, but having a group around you, just keeping it fun. Like you'll never have a bad training session, even if you don't do that well, but as long as it's fun, like, and I think a lot of people lose focus on that. And it's just like, no, I need to do this. Like it has to be done. And it wasn't fun. Like, well then you're going to do more damage than good. Sure. Like finding balance and fun and work and everything, which I think that's just the key to life, is finding balance, whether it's CrossFit or anything else. Just finding balance and keeping it fun.
Cool. And on the flip side, what is your favorite thing about being a high level athlete?
Not gonna lie.
Or things.
Things?
Yeah.
Beating Rich Froning on the muscle up snatch workout with Nunu and Hunter was one of the funnest things I've ever done.
Nice.
That was super fun. Taking the podium with my brother at Wadapalooza a couple years ago.
Oh yeah,
was really fun. Just I don't know. I don't know, man. There's so many good things. Like being healthy, being able to do things like at the flip of a hat, go play a softball game somewhere, go play soccer, I don't know, just it just brings such a big light out of me that all of it's fun. But the games is fun. Games is cool. It's not what everyone thinks it is though. It's not like, because like this is my first time going. It's just like cool. All right, just another competition when you get there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just competing. I guess the level of competition, just like always elevating your level. Like you're never really, when you think you're at a good spot, someone else beats you, and it's just like, nope, got to keep working, got to keep having fun. So as long as you're having fun with it, it's being an athlete is cool.
Cool. And what do you do? I know a lot of people are interested in how does somebody make it to the games and do other things. So what do you do? You mentioned you're a student. Is that, what do you do outside the gym? How would you explain that?
Well, I don't have much of a life outside of the gym right now. So like I'm in school, full-time student at USD, and I also work 20 plus hours at Invictus 6 days a week. And then I just kind of try to find a balance in time. Like Sundays, like it's funny, my girlfriend's like, "Hey, we need to go outside." I'm like, I just want to relax. Like I got homework I need to do in a couple hours. Like I don't want to do anything. Just finding a balance. And I think since I love coaching so much, I love training, and I love the outcome that school's going to bring, that I'm okay with it. Just being those three things, because honestly, anything more than those three things is, I think, too much. Yeah. Like how you have like like that Venn diagram of life to find, you want the balance in the middle. You have to find that. And I think with these three things, I can. It's still super hard, but just trying to balance it the best I can. Sometimes I'm flying at the edge of the seat, and then sometimes I got it in control. So
totally random question, but does your girlfriend do CrossFit with you?
She comes in my comp classes. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
She works a 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, and then she comes and does the competitors class up at Sereno Valley from 6 to 7:30, and we find time to just hang out a lot together when we can. She loves going to the gym too.
Nice.
She works on nutrition stuff also. She's just as busy as I am. So I think that's why it worked so well. But what we do, and I really love, and I haven't told her this yet, but we go up to her parents' house, which is like 45 minutes north, out in the middle of nowhere, and we just hang out. Like we just hang out with her family. They're really cool. And it's just, I think it's a good getaway for her and me.
Yeah.
So to like balance stuff. And she's rad, man. She's so cool. She's funny. She's got some things to work on, which we talk about a lot for like CrossFit. But she's my rock, man. She keeps me sane.
Awesome.
So yeah, you have to meet her next time you come down.
Yeah, definitely, for sure, man. I can't wait. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy that you're happy, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah. I'm in a really, really good place right now. I mean, the only problems I'm having right now is just like tests and stuff for school, right? Because like the CrossFit stuff takes care of itself. But like that's just like my only stresses in life is just school right now. Got a great girlfriend, great family back home, got phenomenal teammates, training partners, and coaches, and everyone at Invictus. Like I'm in a really, really awesome place right now, and I love it.
Man, good to hear.
Yeah.
And I've got one more question for you. And is there anything that we haven't talked about that you think that we should have, that's like a key component to what you do that makes you not only an awesome athlete, but like you're in a great place, like you said? So
I'd say in life you have to just be, where I've learned like 2 years ago, and it's really elevated me, not necessarily as an athlete but also as a person, is just being humble, having confidence in yourself no matter what it is, being smart, and not taking things for granted, but have fun, man. The more fun you have, the easier it is. Get rid of all the negative stuff. Like we don't need that. Like that's not going to help you perform. It's not going to help you get healthy. It's not going to help you build relationships. It's not going to help you do anything. It may fire you up for something, but that can only last so long. But basically just have fun And it's funny, I worked at Dick's Sporting Goods for 2 years when I got out of the Navy. And every day, and I was really good at being a sales associate at Dick's Sporting Goods, because I remember I had like a couple bad days there, and like I was just real grumpy towards people. And then I got a really good review after I made somebody smile. Like, and like every time after that, it's just try to make somebody smile. Like every day, just try to make somebody smile. Like I try to make my girlfriend smile every day, try to make my clients smile every day. Like I'm not the most knowledgeable coach, but I'm very relatable, and I help people just always try to keep the fun aspect in life and in everything they do in life. Like even when we have new members come into the gym, like I just try to get them to smile, make them feel welcomed, relaxed, and just live their life like that. If you have fun, man, what can you be mad about? Even if you're only doing 3 things in life, or if it's like, if you want to call it a quote unquote boring lifestyle, if you're having fun doing that, who cares? Enjoy it.
Awesome. I love it, Ricky. I think that's a great way to live for sure. And man, thanks for sharing that. Lastly, do you have anything that you want to self-promote? And how can people find you if you want to, like, you know, put them to your, whatever you're doing, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, any self-promotion?
Well, Facebook is Ricky Tyler Moore on Facebook. For Instagram, it's Lil Ricky T _2. You'll see a picture of me yelling during regionals last year. If anybody ever needs me, like coaching stuff or anything like that, reach out. Like any more questions, my email is ricky.t.more@gmail.com, and also Ricky at CrossFit Invictus. But no, other than that, man, there's nothing really to self-promote. Just you got questions and need help with anything, let me know. It's just, like, and just keep having fun, man. Fun's
Cool.
a good way to live.
Heck yeah. Well, I recommend, guys, that if you ever have a chance to stop by San Diego, you go hang out at CrossFit Invictus and give Ricky a high five, because he's an awesome dude. But thank you so much, Ricky, for spending the time with us this morning, and I hope to see you soon.
One more thing, Joe.
Yes.
I appreciate it, man. You're a good dude. Keep on doing what you're doing, man. I really appreciate you. Really appreciate it a lot, man.
Cool. Well, hopefully I will see you soon.
Yeah, man, that'd be great.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you for listening to the Get Better Project, hosted by Joe Bauer. If you'd like to leave us a podcast review, head over to the getbetterproject.com/iTunes. Now get going and take action on something that will make you better today.